Hello, today's the 8th of June 2021 and I've got a little bit of news here from Mallorca. If you've been watching the YouTube channel, thank you very much. Thanks for all the comments, it's been fantastic to read them. If you haven't subscribed, then now's a good time to do that. Hit that subscribe button and the bell and you'll get to know about our latest videos. Well, this is a bit of a news update, and first of all, what we've been doing. Well, last weekend the weather was not so good. We went to the market in Santa Maria and we bought some fruit and vegetables while we were there. It's a great market if you're ever in Mallorca. Santa Maria market is one of the biggest and busiest that you can go to. It's on a Sunday morning, but very well worth a visit. After that we actually went down to Camp de Mar. We hadn't been there for quite a while. We had a walk along the front. Again, weather wasn't fantastic, but there were a few people on the beach, but not many hotels open down there. What we did do though was to go for lunch. We had a great lunch down there at the restaurant where we've been going to, the El Quixote. And then we went on from there, we went to Paguera. We had a walk along the beach there. It was getting a bit warmer and there were a few people there. More hotels open, but that caters for the German clientele. So a little bit busier in Paguera. And now to the news. So the Minister of Health has said that we are going to have group immunity by the end of the summer. I'm not sure what she means, Patricia Gómez. She announced this today, that by the end of the summer we will have herd immunity, group immunity, but that's probably not until the end of September or October. That's not really good enough for the people who are working in the hotel sector. This week they've started to immunise people in the 40 plus bracket, so we're now looking at 40 to 45 year olds. So people over 40 now have got the opportunity to get their first vaccination. It was reported in the week that Mallorca and the Baleares have amongst the slowest vaccination rates in the whole of Spain, and that's particularly worrying to all those people who are working in the tourist sector, because they are the ones that would be meeting people who are coming from outside. There was an explanation. The reason they said was because we've got a young population and that the prioritization, the priority is being given to older people or communities with older people. They've been receiving more vaccines than the Baleares. Good news though, we've got one of the lowest death rates in the whole of Spain, and we've got very few cases. So some good news and some bad news. I've been talking in recent of these news updates about the vaccine passport, and it seems to have dragged on a little bit, but they're going to start issuing it here in Mallorca as of Thursday. So I've got a couple of days to wait, but it won't actually come into operation until next week. But if you have the vaccine passport, it will have details of whether you've been vaccinated or if you've had a PCR test recently, and it will mean when it all comes into action on July the 1st, that you'll be able to pass anywhere in the 27 European Union countries, and you'll be able to show this vaccine passport, and it will allow you to do things much more easily. I noticed that Austria, for example, wanted to use it so that people could actually check into hotels or go into restaurants, and the Spanish version of it will be available and will be used for that. And for us, people who are expatriates living over here, we're entitled to it as well. So that's a little bit of good news, makes our life a little bit more free if we want to travel in Europe. It doesn't include the UK anymore, because obviously they're no longer in the European Union. The whole aim of this really is just to stimulate travel within Europe and to get the economy moving as far as the travel industry is concerned. Spanish royal family announced that they will be holidaying in Mallorca, which they've done every year since we've been on the island, except for last year. They usually come for a summer break, maybe for 3 or 4 weeks even, usually go sailing. The Prime Minister comes to meet the King, and they always stay at the Mar and Palace, which is actually right across the road from my school where I work. In fact, my laboratory looks down into their garden, so we're neighbours, or at least we will be for the month of July, August when they arrive. Some interesting news for me. I mean, I don't know whether you'll be interested in, but If you've ever driven along the ring road that goes outside Palmar, you'll see that there's a brand new prison. But on the other side of the road, there's an old prison, and it's been empty for years. I guess it's in a somewhat dilapidated state, and it's been overrun by people who just squatted there. Well, they've announced this week that the building's actually going to be turned into a cultural centre, and maybe some of it will be put into social housing. Well, perhaps that's what it's been used for already. So it'd be good to see that the old prison or the whole buildings there would actually get used for something. It's something Palmar's not very good at, is making use of old derelict buildings. Sanduretta, which was the main hospital, lay derelict for years after they built the new hospital here, Son Espaces. It is now actually going to be, well, some of it's already been knocked down, and some of it is going to be converted into a home for the elderly. And they are actually making use of it now. It's one of the places where you go for PCR tests and vaccinations. Another building that some of you may have seen if you come from the airport into Palmar and you've been on the coast road, on the right hand side there's a big building which is sort of golden colour, covered in glass. It used to be the gas and electricity company called Hesse, and Hesse left. They built a new building, so they just left that building and it just got left. No idea what to do with it, so they did nothing with it. The council, in their wisdom, made it a listed building, and that made it even more difficult to do anything with it. At the moment, it's empty, it's derelict, some of the windows have been smashed, and still nobody knows exactly what to do with it. Another building, well, sort of building, is the old football stadium for Real Mallorca, Luis Sitjar. Real Mallorca moved a long time ago. The stadium, well, the remains of the stadium are still there. It is a derelict site, but if you look carefully you can actually see where the football pitch is, and some of the walls surrounding it are still there. Talk of turning it into a shopping centre, a car park, all sorts of ideas, even for the football club to go back there, but none of them have come to any fruition. There's even an old barracks in the middle of Palmar, which used to be used by the Guardia Civil. Again, derelict. Well, that's me going on and on. We'll go off that and talk about nightlife. And I'm guessing many of you come to Mallorca to enjoy some of the nightlife here, going to clubs, dancing, and all of that sort of thing. Well, that had to stop throughout the COVID pandemic. And there's now talk of restarting it, but it's going to be a gentle restart. We're going to have a pilot test here in Mallorca in June, July, see how that goes, and if it works then you'll be seeing clubs opening in August, but it doesn't look as though they're going to open much before that. None of this is certain yet, nothing's absolutely been decided, but the plan is so that they can stay open till 3 o'clock in the morning. Limited amount of dancing, limited numbers of people inside. Face masks are going to be required, so you may be going to a masked ball. So 19th century masked ball, well, I don't know. Lots of people have been asking about hotels. Are they open, are they closed? Well, more and more have been opening in the anticipation of getting British tourists here, of the UK putting Spain onto the green list, or at least Mallorca onto the green list, and Balearic getting onto the green list. That didn't happen. And people were stunned when it didn't happen. They were really confident that something was going to happen and we were going to go onto the green list. It didn't happen, and so hotels are open with very few guests. But you can come here. There's nothing stopping people from the UK or any other country in Europe coming to Mallorca. Going back is the problem at the moment. If you're not on the green list, going back to the UK still involves PCR tests, quarantine, and 2 more tests while you're in the UK, and all of that's going to cost you a lot of money. So the government here, the tourist industry, is going to be pushing towards getting more and more of the domestic market, so encouraging people from Spain, mainland, coming over to Mallorca for their holidays this summer. And we still have other markets, obviously, throughout Europe coming here. In particular, the German market is very strong. And I read in the paper this week that 60% of Germans who are going abroad for their holidays this summer are actually coming to Mallorca or the Balearic Islands. So we expect to see a lot of Germans, and there's already quite a few here, particularly on the Playa de Palma. And they've been out on the Playa de Palma, and I'm not sure whether it's them or whether it's some other people, but they're having their botellons. It's where they take a bottle onto the beach or onto the promenade, which is illegal, and certainly in Magaluf there are fines of up to 500 euros for doing that. So be careful. Other interesting news, the island has been declared, that's Mallorca and Ibiza, Menorca, Formentera. The Balearic Islands are amongst the most expensive places to live in the whole of Spain. Some people have been asking me about coming to live here in Mallorca. It's a lovely idea, but do be aware it is one of the most expensive places. It comes about fourth after Madrid, Catalonia, which is where Barcelona is, and the Basque Country in the north of Spain. They are the most expensive, and we come fourth after that. And some football news. For those of you interested in Real Mallorca, we have been promoted. We are going up into La Liga, so we will be playing the big boys. But one thing Mallorca lacks is the finance that places like Real Madrid and Barcelona, they've got pots and pots of money to spend on players, but Mallorca does not. Well, their pot has been filled a little by selling a player known as Budimir. Budimir used to play for us and then went to Osasuna on loan, and Osasuna now have agreed to buy him for 8 million euros. So a little bit of money going into the Real Mallorca coffers, and they're going to need it if they're going to get some players for the season of 2021-2022. We'll see what happens there, and I'll keep you updated. On the weather front, well, last weekend was a bit of a washout. We had some storms, we had lots of rain and cloud, quite a bit of wind as well. When we went down to Camp de Mar, part of the beach had actually been washed away, and someone was complaining about Camp de Mar about the smell on the beach, and that's because the water becomes stagnant. When it rains a little bit, it collects, becomes stagnant, and does get a bit smelly sometimes. And certainly we noticed it when we were there on Sunday morning. So that was Sunday, but by Monday it had all blown away, the weather had cleared up, and it looks like sunshine all the way. In fact, when I finished work today and tried to get into my car, it was roasting. My car's black as well, and so it was very, very warm. So the temperatures are predicted to be up to the high 20s, 28, maybe 29, and clear blue skies all the way. So thanks for watching, and that's just a little bit of an update on the news from Mallorca here. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, hit that bell, and you'll get a notification when we update the channel here with either news or some other videos. We haven't forgotten the history of us. We are working on that. We've done part 1 and part 2. Part 3 will be coming soon, as they say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.